Hi, I'll start the show with a song. New you. And I hope I've got this stuff working. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. The new you song is a connection to the real universes, the universal guides. If a person sings it for like 15 minutes before they go to sleep each night, and 15 minutes when they wake up in the morning, sincerely trying to become more aware of what's real, and to connect with the universal guides like Reba Zartars and Paul Twitchell and Dwayne Hepner. I think I'll just start out by reading some of one of the new books that Dwayne has wrote in the Adventurous series available at lulu.com. This is new book 2 from A Journey to Real Freedom. It is you. It is you. I can see who you are. Of course, the great guide of life has brought you to my very door, he said, with a piercing look that went right through me. Then there was a pause, and all I could hear was the sound of Om, as it moved past me and beyond into the unknown void, and out into countless worlds that he controlled. Then he began to speak again with an exaggerated mannerism. You are the one that I have heard about. You and your guide are a rare breed that has bothered my kingdom since Paul Twitchell came to my earth. Those under my control and who are in control have exposed what you have been doing. There are so many that believe as I tell them to believe, and so you will also become an outcast as you present what you know, said the huge face. Then he looked at me very intensely again. I could actually feel him wanting me to break down within myself. I could sense his suggestiveness from the unseen part of himself. I stood my ground and let all the influential stream of restriction pass. He became a little frustrated. How dare you mock me and what I have decided? He so loudly proclaimed. His words came shouting out and vibrated through me as though he was trying to tear me apart. Within him, an actual emotional surge towards me occurred. It was a strong force of great magnitude. I knew that I could withstand the huge onslaught as I remained motionless. Dwayne, said Heather, are you all right? I looked at her and smiled. I was actually feeling very good about this whole experience. This journey was making me stronger and more capable. I could see so many wonderful realizations within myself that were occurring while this confrontation was taking place. Here I was in the heart of what the earth people considered to be eternity, but it had a flaw, actually a huge flaw. It had become very obvious this entity could only produce the emotional and mental illusions that so many agree to. I suddenly had a real compassion for him, as I saw this God to be a slave to himself. It projected fear and control. but it was all from himself and his unknowingness of the is. I was in the midst of so many comparisons with my awareness that washed away eons of obstacles. I knew the experiences in the confrontation, not in the fear of the unknown. What the Kalam God had shown me was how he manipulated others with restrictions that were actually himself. I am fine with all of this, Heather. I have become more aware and sure of what this experience is for, I said. I was feeling very good about this whole experience. I was now seeing myself as unique, something other than what my mind had decided on Earth. I was more so beginning to understand and perceive what RT had been relating to me all along. I felt so good about not being the ego, but being a being that is exceptional. It was like a great flash of realization that I wanted to hang on to as I overviewed observed this experience. It was not from the Lord God, but from the is that suddenly allowed me an alternative view because of what I was experiencing now. This God became the reaction for me to see more than I had before. RT leaned over and said to me, he sees what you will be doing in the future when you inform the earth people about the psychic gods and the illusions they have perpetuated for centuries onto the masses. You are the threat he does not want. The Keck systems will be exposed. Suddenly, the sound of the Om became very loud again as he continued to speak. I know what your whispers are, light beings. I know your purpose and what you will be doing in my world. Your task cannot succeed. There are millions that will stand up for me, their God. Who will really listen to you? They will only listen to me, their God. I am the great comforter and I control everyone. All my children want to be held by me and not ravaged by the discomfort of going beyond what I have decided for them. I am the only truth there is, and there cannot be anyone else. All your attempts to fool my people who you are will fail. Now shouting quite loudly, I looked around to see if the mountains would start to crumble. I knew that if I were in my physical body, it probably would have turned to dust by now. I was now experiencing the entire war, but I felt that it was a good test for me. I was amazed at what was actually taking place. It was as though he were driving away some of any illusions that I was not aware of. Then he continued. Man does not want real truth. He cannot handle it. He does not want to know what reality is. He wants me to provide him with all the desires that his mind can handle and furnish him with the illusions that I have invented since the beginning of time. As usual, your efforts will only be a waste of time, because I have many agents on the earth and other systems that will destroy all that you do. My followers are everywhere, and they do not like to be exposed because they worship me and only me. Mankind is a slave to worship. At that moment, I was suddenly seeing a scene with Crony and how she had taken over Harry and the membership. I did not want to say anything about the corporation because I was concerned about the mountains crumbling around me from any attitude this God would have. I patiently listened as he began to religiously speak again. There are so many who do not have the courage to explore beyond who I am, and so I shall have them in my place of worship. I have created all the ideas, the belief systems demonstrated in their rituals. their doctrines, and their rewritten formulas. Mankind wants verbal and written dogma. I know this for a fact, as I control everyone through the maya of their own mind. I am the ultimate mind, and there is nothing beyond the mind. This is what I have decided for everyone. I have made it so. I have made it well known that there is only demise and fear beyond what mankind cannot understand. I also make sure no one escapes their minds for fear of losing everything, so I keep the fear in place to serve my purpose. I know what you guys are always proposing. Freedom. Freedom from all things. There is no such thing in my kingdom. You are the false prophets I describe in my doctrines that keep people afraid of you and what you propose. The unaware love their superstitions, and I provide the best. People are stupid and easily controlled. People cannot see right in front of them that the birds and other creatures do not worship and pray to anything, nor do they destroy the planet they are on. But the dumb humans do. Then he let out a huge roar of laughter that did actually shake the ground. As he continued, he let himself be known for who he is. I love this job and everything I do for myself. In so many ways, it is quite humorous to see how so many people actually believe what I tell them. They keep agreeing with all that I give them, and ever so blindly, never considering that reality does make sense. And the sense worlds of man are illusionary and do not make any sense according to reality itself. But this is my job and this is what I do. Ha ha ha, can you blame me? I cannot talk people out of their own comfort zones, and this is true. Besides, mankind is not interested in real freedom. Not at all. He would rather worship me and have all the things that keep his personal bodies working. And so it would seem. Only I can give him this, whereas what can you give him? The drudgery of trying to accomplish something which does not exist? A dream of some faraway place that couldn't possibly be? Even if they were to get a glimpse of what is real, their minds would question it to pieces. Until there was another system created to worship me. I win, I always win. It is my way. You see, they will always come back to me because I will create the fear that man loves to cling to. Look at your own human history and those who tried to tell others something beyond what they already knew for the times they were in. They were all gotten rid of, destroyed at the hands of their own kind. This is how humans are. They love to play in the dirt. How many will take the risk and explore into the unknown to discover what you are proposing, and then jeopardize their social position on earth? To do so, they must be ready to sacrifice their own life for something that might or might not be there. Those who follow me would rather cling to their fear than be free of it, because the unknown is far too scary. And at the same time, they are afraid to leave me. What I provide makes sense on earth, because people are lost to their senses, and I provide the best ideas for their comfort. They cannot see past their emotional attachments to a better life, and so they worship me as their only loving God. Everything I provide for mankind is tangible, so who would risk their very soul for something intangible and unseen? I have provided for all the masses since the beginning of the earth. What have you and your friends done? Provided an avenue for escape? There is none. I make sure of that. I will make sure that you will not succeed with all your little attempts to bring about your so-called truths. I have multitudes who will bow to me and rid the world of those who promote anything but what I want. The blinded priestcraft are my servants, and they make sure the masses are fed what I deem proper, which is now labeled as GMO. I am the power of the mind, and the mind rules whatever it wants, actually what I want. People love their mind and their senses with their sensations of what they think is love. I have convinced people that sex is love. I have convinced people that food is love. I have convinced people that being stupid is a way of life, and they do love it. I do not have to make any of this up, as it is seen everywhere on all the round worlds. The astral tap-lining reptilians are my servants for as long as I need them. And when they fail at what I want them to do, which they will, I will get rid of them and get someone else to conquer and take over all the dumbed-down humans. The presidents, popes, and masters like Crony Joni and Tapliner Harry are my stupid servants, and they have all agreed to this and so much more because they love the power of the mind and senses more than they do what is real and makes sense as you see it. And they in turn convince others to worship and pray to me. So life from where I am sitting is very good. From where you are right now, Dwayne, I do not see anything that looks good for you. Ha, ha, ha. I invented the supportive systems to worship only me and provide for those that promote my doctrines. I am all things to all people. I am their Savior and I am their devil. Yes, I am also the devil that I have taught them to despise and hate. And in this way, they always have their attention on me in one way or another. I tap-line them with my love, and I tap-line them with why they hate me the most. I am in their dreams and tap-lining them all the time, and they are agreeing to return for more unconscious lifetimes to be my slaves and servants again and again. I know you. You have betrayed me. Oh, yes, you have. I know you. I really do. You are the new man. I will be watching you and your guide friends who are always interfering and twisting my words around. I have so many shadowy soldiers on the earth and in my psychic realms. They know that I will reward them for their loyalty. You will come to know them, new man, when your time comes to try whatever you will. Ha, 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 roared the Om Lord, as the three huge mountains shook all around us, and then, as he then continued, man is a physical body and can never be anything else. He must live in the dirt until the day comes of his passing to nowhere. Then and only then will I decide if he is to have a heavenly peace he seeks or back to the 9-to-5 drudgery that I have created to keep all my followers busy with. I love those who worship me and sacrifice all they have, because it's really all mine. They will see me as I really am, their God. It will have the privilege of suffering over and over again for me and laboring in my name forever. They are the ones who will have the privilege of building temples in my name on the round worlds and throughout eternity. The controllers of the many worlds know who I am, the God that has created all things. They know who answers their prayers, me. Man wants a God he can control, someone to do his bidding. And so I play the game people want so I can get what I want. I, the Lord of the heavens, have granted mankind the privilege of thinking he can have whatever he wants from me, and he can have it, because it's really nothing at all. I will always be here for all who want me. If you truly worship and love me, I will let you be with me forever. Then the giant eyes closed, and there was silence except for the resonating sound of the Om, as it continued everywhere. I looked at Heather and she said, "That was very interesting. I think I believe him with whatever he said." As I looked at her, she looked as though she was on something funny. as her eyes were a little drowsy. I glanced at RT, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, "This is how the false gods work. They keep talking until you give in. What more can I say?" Heather soon came around and quickly snapped out of her semi-trance. "I'm okay, really I am," she said with a big smile on her face. "But what about the belief systems on the earth? Are they really that bad, RT?" RT rubbed his chin and smiled and said, "No, not at all. They serve their purpose like you and I and anything in life. It's really all about choice. They are a benefit for the times they are needed, but eventually you will outgrow them just like a baby outgrowing its diapers. There comes a time when you pass up all the lesser invented systems and are shown the real universes beyond the gods of man. This is something that is not done overnight and may take lifetimes to gain the strength and courage that one needs to overcome the conditioning and limitations of the material world." We stood and watched as the Lord God slowly disappeared into the river of light. There was so much more to this experience than words could ever tell. I know as people read this, they will mainly see it as something far too unreal and non-existent, and so it has become my experience alone. As I looked at Heather and how she reacted to all of this, I was seeing so much more about so many things with my own life. Even though the light here was overwhelming, I could tell that it was not as this God of man described it to be. For those reading this, anyone can meet this deity while they are still in their physical life, but most people will not, because they are too afraid to be or believe that it is not possible for them. Everything in life is possible if we are willing to take the risk to find out. The real guides are the new explorers, and they are showing the true way more so than any of the invented systems of deception and demise on the earth. Just like Noah or others in human history, anyone can have a communication with the gods of man, but beware. They love to fool everyone. Rebazar motioned for us to leave and led the way upward, flying up over the huge mountains of light toward the next life level. I looked back as we headed upwards at all the creativeness of this realm. What an amazing sight. It was all like such a dream and a story I was now living. I could not see an end to this realm, but I knew there was something even better coming up. As RT sped us into the sky, what I have shared here is so minute compared to what this place is all about. My real adventures are an opportunity for others to explore for themselves. I had learned a whole lot from this Governor God and how he persuaded others into his arena. As we were flying, I asked RT about the remark the God Lord had made about me. That was some of New Book 2, A Journey to Real Freedom by Dwayne the Great Writer. The new books are available at lulu.com, and there's PDFs of them. You get a hold of Kelsey Lynn Brown on Facebook or Skype or YouTube. There's projects that are in development right now. The project happening is the total universal rainforest in development, and there'll be projects where everybody can be involved in growing good foods and trying to provide good water for those that don't have access to it, and trying to clean up the oceans and find ways to clean up the air. And, you know, there's a new school for the young people, and then there's the Nations United Universal University in development too. So I'm just trying to share the opportunity to test for yourself by starting with the New You song. And find out for yourself, see what life shows you. I'll see ya.